At number one, the most beautiful uniform in all of sport. If they brought back the gray stripes, this thing is so far out in front of everybody, you can't touch it.
What's best for Ohio State, and then we'll compromise from there.
The way that Michigan in general embraced this guy.
And we know that Ohio State will be following these rules to the letter of the law. Ryan Day being disrespected yet again.
I've heard it like that for spells in big games, and with only 70,000 Ohio State fans. Rumors have been swirling for a couple of weeks now. This draw that Ohio State got was the best thing for Ryan Day.
2 5-star linebackers from the state of Ohio. It was an amazing cut.
And welcome to Juck on Bucks. Appreciate you so much for joining me. This is a surprise. We weren't going to do this. We were planning on doing Jerquaden Guilford's announcement at 5:30. And I was going to do that because he was going to be the third potential Buckeye to announce today. So we could have gone over the previous couple announcements. We did get that first announcement from Jackson Ford this morning. He chose Penn State. Demari Simeon, supposedly at 4:30. We'll see if we can pull him up. But Jerquaden Guilford, the wide receiver, has postponed it. He canceled it. That's good news for us because if he picked today, it was going to be Ole Miss. So Bucks got him to kick that off, put a little more thought into it, and I figured why not just pop on here and see if we can get Demari Simeon live. Shout out to our buddy Trent, who did that new intro for us. We got some things to work on there, but it's a good starting point, so I really like it and appreciate him doing that. I was told that Demari Simeon was going to have this on his Instagram, but I'm looking at his Instagram live right now, and I don't see anything here. Well, so that's interesting. At any rate, we will find out, I'm sure, from Twitter, and you guys can maybe keep me posted. Dan, what's up, buddy? We don't have any balls just yet. Okay. I think my official prediction here for Demari Simeon is he's going to pick Ohio State, and that's going to make me really happy because I like the prospect, but at this point, we need to start getting some commits on this defensive line before they all fall apart. Mika, thanks so much. Mika likes my shirt. First time up. Oh, his Twitter says 5, Ryan. Okay, his Twitter says 5. Great. Well, then we're early. We can just shoot the breeze until he comes on. That's good. I was pushing it hard here because I was running down here, and I'm just throwing all this together. My son came down to talk. I'm like, I'm on live in 7 seconds. Don't sleep on this guy. Absolutely not. No. I've been a big advocate for Demari Simeon for sure. For those who haven't seen him, I'll pull up a little film. Oh my God. Donnie says, hey, Juck, do you think we get Deuce? At this point, no, unfortunately I don't. I think we're going to, Deuce isn't letting anybody on to when he's announcing, which means, could be end of July, whatever. I think that honestly, we have a defensive tackle in this class already. It's just not been made public in JJ Perez. Then I think we're going to get Demari Simeon right now. Then I think we're going to get Cam Brickle tomorrow. And at that point, there's no room for Deuce. Now, you could say, hey, we're going to make room for this guy. There's an interesting conversation there to be had. But matter of fact, since we got some time, I guess we'll get into this. So I saw Mick Walker from Letterman Row, who I really like, put out a mock class. So he puts out a mock class, and there were some people who were irritated with this mock class. Saw some tweets. Okay, this would be a terrible class coming off a national championship. One of the complaints I was seeing was not enough numbers, like a 24-man class. And I think that we all need to keep in mind, like, yeah, we can go as high as we want now, pretty much. Like, not as high as we want, but 120 from 85 to 120, that feels like as high as you want, right? The beauty of not having to stop at that 85 to me is you've got flexibility, and I think for sure you're going to use that flexibility. However, every additional number you take over what you used to or over what you planned on, which is 90, is one more piece of the pie that you got to feed, right? Like the budget doesn't get any bigger. That's a little less money for everybody involved. So if you just load up, that's not a great thing. And in addition to that, you want to make sure you keep some money back reserved for paying transfers because you're going to have to do that. You know, you're going to have to do that. It's just part of the deal now. And that doesn't mean you're focusing on transfers, but you know, we're averaging 7 to 10 guys every time. So you want to make sure that you have that. You want to make sure you have the roster spots for that and that you're not getting too far out of hand or else you're spending too much money. Everybody's piece of the pie is going down every other guy you add. The thing I like about it is you can take that guy that maybe you otherwise might not have because it would have been a number crunch. You can take maybe a little more chance here and there on some Ohio kids that you might not otherwise have had. Just borderline guys. Maybe now you take that chance where you might not have. Things like that. And guys like that you can probably get, you know, for a real budget bargain price. So there's a lot of flexibility that it adds. But today we are here for the purposes of Demari Simeon. And Demari Simeon is another New Jersey guy. We've had obviously a lot of luck with Jersey guys. He's down to Texas, Penn State, Ohio State. And it was looking like a Penn State-Ohio State battle for a long time. And then recently we've seen some of the Texas insiders come in and say that they think that, you know, there's some things going on with Texas. The most recent thing I saw from them was they think it's at about 10 to 20%. But the truth is nobody knows anything because Demari Simeon has been one of the quietest recruits in this class. I mean, this guy, it's been impossible to get information out of. I don't know how anybody really has much of a thought on it at either way, but the crystal balls did roll yesterday for the Buckeyes. And this is a guy I think can be a dude. We're talking 6'2", 275. And if we just pull up his profile here, he's a top 200 dude, number 20 defensive line. That's the composite up there on the top. On3 internally rates him as the highest of all the services. 4-star, number 65 overall player, and the number 7 defensive lineman in the country. 247 has him as a 3-star, the number 44 defensive lineman in the country. So a big variance there, but you see Rivals supports On3 there, number 12 defensive lineman. And when we watch his film, man, the dude's a playmaker. He's an absolute playmaker. I really like him. Let me move myself down here. That's the wrong way there, Chuck. Down here. So Demari Simeon playing some one tech, and you could see the burst for a guy that size. Look at him get the pick. Now, I'm not sure I don't think this is that really good Catholic league in New Jersey, but look at the speed on him coming off the line. I mean, this is a legit dude for sure. I think that he has a ceiling that's a tick higher than Cam Brickle, who we will be after tomorrow. I also think they're essentially the same size man. There's a big kerfuffle this week that Cam Brickle says he doesn't see himself as a one tech. He doesn't want to be a one tech. He doesn't want to be, just eating up double teams in the middle. He's a 3 tech. Cam Brickle's like 6'2.5" and 300 pounds. Demari Simeon is 6'2", 275, but Demari Simeon's much leaner right now. And Cam Brickle will probably lean out a little bit too. Not much difference in size here between the two guys. Cam Brickle has some twitch about him, which is surprising for a guy that looks a little, like him. Just like when you look at K-Mac and Tyleek and you see how twitchy they are. It's just kind of shocking when you see a guy that can move a little twitchier like that when he's carrying a little extra weight. But Demari Simeon, look at the power, speed off the line, clearly a playmaker. The dude's all over the place, shutting down the run. I really like him, the real deal. And obviously the Buckeyes like him. He's been a priority target this entire time, though we haven't had much to talk about with him, again, because he doesn't talk much. And for whatever reason, guys like that, we tend to not talk a ton about unless they're a 5-star. But he's an absolute dude. Total dude. But again, not sure what league this is in New Jersey. Maybe one of you guys can help me out. It's St. Augustine is where he plays. But man, he looks big out there. He looks really big. Definitely a presence. So I like him a lot. I'd be very happy to add him in. And if we're looking at the defensive class right now, if you add Demari Simeon, it would be, I assume, JJ Perez. I'm just putting him on there for my purposes. JJ Perez and Demari Simeon. And then you want to add that third defensive tackle, which could come as early as tomorrow morning with Cam Brickle's announcement. And at edge, you got Kari Wilder. You are certainly hoping out on your big fish, Carter Meadows here. And KJ Ford out of Duncanville would be the other guy that you could potentially push for. Question is, do they want to push for KJ Ford regardless? Or do they only want to do that if they can't get Carter Meadows? We'll see. We had thought originally that the Bucs were taking 6 defensive linemen, right? That was kind of the conventional wisdom. Recently, it kind of trickled out that maybe that was going to be just 4. And 4 would be one thing if you had a couple of the really highly rated guys that you had to pay a ton for. But if you miss out on those guys, probably better to get 6, in my opinion. But hey, there's got to be some grace here to the guys making the decisions. This is not easy. Like you guys, I showed you the money breakdown the other day, just generically trying to make this all work. And remember, last year you spent, roughly $20 million. You're dropping a lot of money off of that. And it's not easy to make all these numbers add up and still leave yourself some money in that budget for the portal. Having conversations with guys. So there's been a lot of talk about this July 1st deadline. This July 1st deadline is, as far as I'm reading it, people are understanding what this deadline is. People are thinking like you can just go out and sign all these recruits for whatever you want. As long as you pay them right now before July 1st, you're good. The way I'm reading that is that July 1st deadline is for you can pay off Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith, all the numbers that are owed to them before July 1st, guys that are already under contract, you can pay them off and it won't hit against your cap. That's the way I'm reading it. Now, one of us is right, one of us is wrong, but it started spreading around everywhere that people are just doing this. And I think the people who are paying a ridiculous amount of money right now are actually, some of them don't care about these rules and are planning on everything blowing up. So that's my thought. But hey, what's up? What's up, Tone? Our buddy Tone from Curse Designed. Haven't seen you in a while there, bud. Can I put the Juxters on Hyder? Hyder, man, I don't know. Why doesn't it show your names on this chat? I can see you, B-Dunks. I could see you. So I'm on StreamYard. Is it not showing you on the screen or something? So StreamYard goes out to all the different things that I post this on. So whether you're watching it on Instagram or YouTube, you can't talk, I don't think, to everybody in the chat that I'm seeing. I'm seeing everybody. Oh, just your @ name. I got you. Okay. Yeah. Buck Vader thought it was 5, so he had a heart attack almost. He had the right time. I had the wrong time. Yeah, let's like the video. Let's like the video for the Juxter. How do you guys like the names or the chat being on the screen? I was thinking about this the other day. Number one, I got some good news. But number two, that when it comes through for you, that might be blurry on your screen because it's not as crystal clear as what I'm seeing right now because it's so small. Mr. McIntosh, is Demari more interior or a defensive end? This is going to be a 3-tech. He's your classic 3-tech interior defensive tackle. And I don't believe that. I think he'll probably end up playing at about 285, 295. He's got some juice. When's the next show? The next show, well, tomorrow. I don't know if Cam Brickle is going to do his announcement on a platform. Normally, I only like to come on and do these when somebody is going to stream it so we can watch it. But I suppose we could do it anyway if he doesn't and just kind of, get his decision on Twitter and discuss it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. The Green-Eyed Bandit. This is a new name here, Jimmy. Thanks. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Colton got to take on Ohio State's approach. Colton likes Ohio State's approach. I know it can be frustrating, but if we need a piece in the offseason, they will go and get it and spend on a proven college player, which is true. Absolutely. key is you need to make sure that you have some money for that. And that's part of the challenge of doing this budget, part of the challenge of not paying young guys a ton. I mean, these guys are all making money coming in as freshmen, but you want to have these contracts with these guys to entice them, not just to come, but to stay. So you want them coming back for their sophomore year, and they're going to get, this much more. And then their senior year, they're going to get a huge amount more, right? Like, that's ideally, in a perfect world, how you would want to do this. Got to get them in the door first, though. And it's tough to do when you're competing against other schools who aren't in the situation Ohio State is in, meaning they don't have a ton of talent already on the roster. So their thought process is, we don't care if this sophomore and 7 of those juniors come back for their senior year, so I don't need to budget for them. I'm going to budget for these kids out of high school and for the portal. Well, when you're going up against someone with that philosophy, that's when it's going to come to you. You got to just win the recruitment the old-fashioned way, and you got to do it now with less ammo in the cash department. So it's more difficult. It just is. Troy, how many defensive line do we need for LJ to go from can't recruit to GOAT? What? All right. So he's going to have to, this is what's so difficult in this era, right? Like, we're talking about a lot of these losses for money. Like, let's say Luke Waffle, for instance. How you can't blame LJ. It had nothing to do with Luke Waffle. You know what I mean? That guy, for one, he was going to come to Ohio State for less money. Then USC made that huge offer at the end. And it was, all right, now the gap is too much. Ohio State, can you do anything? No. Okay. I'm going to have to go with this huge offer. So technically, you could say, like, well, that's kind of a recruiting win that you lose on money. Will Carter Meadows be the same type of deal? It's really tough to judge position coaches now that the money is so, like, the first couple years of this, there were a lot of guys who were still gun shy to just take that biggest offer, or at least let that be known. It's still, there was like a stigma attached to it. And now it just feels like straight NFL contract negotiation for, at minimum, the 5-star kids. Like, that's just who's going to pay me the most, and that's what it is. But much more difficult to judge recruiting these days. As far as LJ, they're you're going to have to land Deuce Geralds and Carter Meadows, and you probably missed out on too many already to get that GOAT status at this point. When we look at the past couple of years, judging him against the rest of the top 5, Ohio State finished 5th. And some people will say, all right, well, look, he's recruiting better than 95% of college football. And they're absolutely right. That's good, right? Yes, that's good. Better than 95%. All right. What about against the rest of the people who live in your space? And that's, Georgia and Bama and Texas. That's who lives in the stratosphere Ohio State does. How is he doing against them? And that's where it's fallen down. And the numbers are the numbers for that. But can you make your guys play above that? That's what we're all banking on, right? Mr. McIntosh, overall, Jersey has very solid football. Definitely the strongest East Coast state, not including Southeast. Yeah, I'd say you're right. And we certainly have taken our share. We have 5 New Jersey residents in the class of 2025 with teammates Deshaun Stewart and Des Jones coming from, what was it? Is it St. John's? St. Paul's? They wore green. They're coming from there in New Jersey. And then we've got the other set of teammates, Max Roy and Isaiah West, who both went to Philadelphia St. Joe's, but they both live in New Jersey and drive across the border to go to Philadelphia St. Joe's every day. And we had one more who is escaping me. What's up, Dago? How we doing, buddy? Appreciate you guys all hopping aboard on no notice. Troy wrote off Hyder. Don't see us meeting the price. Troy, I'm absolutely with you. I've written off Hyder, and I've written off Cooper as well. I don't see either of those happening. And, sometimes to me, that's a defense mechanism where it's like, all right, this isn't going to hurt. I'm just going to write it off. And then if it happens, it's a huge surprise and it's delightful. So maybe I'm not the best to listen to on ones like that. But when you see a public number come out that's $600,000 to $800,000, and you know that Ohio State isn't going to come close to it, it's like, yeah, whatever. But the truth is, when it comes to running back, I love the shape the room is in. We got a freshman in Bo Jackson. Do I really want to bring in another freshman right behind him that's that caliber? And maybe that, I mean, yeah, you could say, sure you do, but wouldn't I rather space it out 1 year? Like space out 1 year between those super studs. I think it's better for the budget to space it out. It might be better for chemistry. Just get, all right, I want 2 solid years out of Bo before he moves on, and then I can roll him in. Kind of like what you're doing at quarterback with Tavian St. Clair, Luke Fahey, then Brady Edmonds. Well, next year, you got a big head start on David Gabriel George, who's the number 1 running back in the country. And he loves Ohio State, loves the way Coach Locke coaches, even said, it reminds me of the military, the way Locke coaches. And he said, and I love that because I come from a military family. Because Locke isn't for everybody, man. And that's the other thing. The guys that he gets are guys that want to be coached by a guy like that. And that's tough. So when you got a kid with that mentality as a young guy, it says a lot about him. He's got a little extra something to him. But spacing out Bo Jackson and then getting Favor Aki, who could develop into, being just as good as all of them, just not as sure, right? And then David Gabriel George coming in behind, that I think needs to be the key. And I definitely support the decision not to spend that kind of money on Hyder if you're going to spend it, to wait and spend it on David Gabriel George, who things look really well with. He seems to me to like Ohio State more than Sider ever did right off the rip. So it's blurry. Well, hey, here's the good news I want to tell you. So there has been crews digging my neighborhood up this week. My wife came down and told me, honey, you're going to be so excited. Guess what this is? It's called MetroNet. I'm like, okay, whatever, some goofy internet. And I look it up, and it is fiber internet, which we have never had available to us here. So I look up, all right, what's the difference with the fiber? The difference is, so currently on my internet, my download speed is like almost a gig, which is really, really fast. But it's the upload speed I need to give the show to you. That's like 25. Which isn't bad. Seems to work fine for everybody else. Doesn't work great for me. Well, the fiber, the download speed and the upload speed are the same, which means, and I signed up for the biggest package, 5 gigabytes download, 5 gigabytes upload. We should never have another problem again. And if we do at that point, I just give up. I don't know how long it's going to be. I was asking the gentleman today who was digging in the front yard. He didn't speak my language. He pulled out an app to translate. And there was still, the app worked okay, but I don't have an answer. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it seems like they just started. The Green-Eyed Bandit, or JJ, as we call him around here, Juck, we've whiffed on several recruits, but I heard we have shifted our efforts to Carter Meadows. Do we have a shot? Yes. I think it's close to a coin flip. Now, I know he likes Michigan. He really likes Michigan. So it's not going to be one where we're going up against a school that, well, they just bid more. They gave the bigger bag, but I think they have the advantage to be able to give the bigger bag. It doesn't appear like, I don't want to say that. Look, we're going to find out by the end of this, when we see the whole class complete, what schools it looks like are either just paying a ridiculous amount of their salary cap on freshmen, or maybe it'll look like in the end, okay, this school, and this school are totally disregarding these rules, and they're going to wait till they try to come after them for the cap and say, forget you, we're going to court or something. It's just, when you look at USC and how much they're spending on the freshman class, you look at Texas A&M, like right away, that looks fishy. Michigan, I'm not there with them, but for whatever reason, they seem to be able to offer a whole lot. Now, they've got a heck of a defensive line class going. If they were to add him, that would be a serious class. Zach says, let's go. Finally getting alerts again. Oh, he's getting alerts. That's fantastic. Our guy wasn't getting alerts. Now we got it. Thanks so much for the super chat. Crispin Certified says the chat is perfect. Thank you so much for the heads up, buddy. JR says, is it just me, Or is the yes, sir eyeball stuff Sharon Moore puts on Twitter super cringe? Also, dude has every Buckeye fan on X blocked. All right, I've got a couple opinions on this. Now, number one, for those not familiar, I know everybody's not on Twitter. Whenever Sharon Moore is going to get a recruit, he tweets out, yes, sir, with the stupid eyeballs. Now, I'm a big hater of the eyeballs. Hate the eyeballs. The eyeballs used to be something that meant, hey, we just got a commitment. Everybody's about to find out. And now you see eyeballs for everything. So now I hate eyeballs. As far as the Twitter blocking, people will call people soft for blocking people on Twitter. I block people I never even talk to. If I see someone say something ridiculously stupid and they're talking to somebody else, I'll block them because I don't ever want to see their stupid nonsense again. Like, I got this thing with stupid people. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear them. I'm quick to block them. Stevie Steen, thanks for the super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. My old dog. I talked to Steve before I ever started this show. I told him, hey, I think I'm going to start a show. One of my Twitter buddies. You can make good pals on Twitter, guys. It's not all bad. The majority of it. The thing about I hate the tone of Twitter. The tone is attack. That's the tone. I almost tweet nothing on there because I just don't want to deal with it. The tone is attack. Okay, Taryn says that Landon Barnes is now announcing on the 30th, as in like 3 days from now. There's our guy, Matt. Thank you, Matt. DePaul Catholic for Des and Deshaun. 330 Manziel. Did he commit to Ohio State? If you're talking about Demari Simeon, we got 9 more minutes to find out. Yes, Quincy from Bergen Catholic. Yes, and now we are recruiting his brother. Quincy Porter has a little brother that is, I think, going into his sophomore year, and he's already 6'2.5". So that would be pretty awesome. Mika says, still going to be an awesome class. Trust the coaches and the culture. Yeah, no doubt about that. Like, I know that coming off of a national championship, you sometimes, look, it would be nice if we saw, more. We always want more. We'd like to cash in on the number one class at some point. That would be great sometime. And it would kind of, seem like coming off a national championship might be your opportunity to do that. But when we look at this thing, when it's all said and done, I think we're going to go down this list of guys and be like, hey, I love this football player. I love that football player. And when you also get dudes like Blaine Bradford's coming up from Louisiana who just want to be at Ohio State, like, man, that's a 5-star dude everybody in the country wants and just enamored with Ohio State. Like, those are the type of guys that just remind you how special it is for some people. And that makes me feel a whole lot better about missing out on guys that maybe are more interested in going to get a payday. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Honestly, if I was 17 years old, I feel like I would be that kid. Like, right, I feel like that's who I would be. So I can't really knock them. But when you get, I don't know, you get older, some things mean more to other people than they do to some. You know what I mean? Yes, Jordan Thomas, another Bergen Catholic kid. Bergen Catholic doing us well. That the coach there loves Ohio State, and he is like the best coach in New Jersey high school football history. I think it's Vito Campanelli, and that family, like their dad was a high school coach, and now the 4 Campanelli brothers, they're all head coaches. One of them's with the Jaguars. One of them coaches another high school in New Jersey. One of them's at Syracuse, but Vito coaches at Bergen Catholic, and he loves the Buckeyes. And it's awesome. It's a cool family. So listen, yeah, 5 gig. That's like industrial. Now I saw the options and there was like 17 options. And I just said, give me the best. No expense is too much for me to fix this problem, bro. Honestly, you have no idea how frustrating this has been for me. You guys have been here when it's just kicked me off, like, I don't feel like anybody else deals with this but me. It's so obnoxious. So yeah. This is a good point. No Tony Alford around here, so things are great. At least this time, Tony Alford didn't wait till he missed out on Savion Hyder to go try to get his 3-star backup plan. He got that done ahead of time this time. All right, Anthony, you got a gig of fiber. So do you have any problems going out when you're streaming out? Ryan said Meadows' dad is from St. Ignatius. I did not know that. I didn't know that at all. That's interesting. They can go both ways, man. I've known a lot of Michigan fans out of there as well. B-Dunks blocks people all the time. And Juck hates eyeballs. I do. Like, that's the thing. Look, people can call me soft or not. You know, I honestly, that's fine. Maybe it is soft behavior. If I don't want to argue with idiots, means I'm soft. All right. I don't like to see. Here's the thing. I have a hard time not arguing with people in the first place. And it's a no-win situation. There's never been a Twitter argument where the other party's been like, you know what? I think you're right. So it's just a waste of time. All right, we got 4 minutes. Let me pop over to Instagram and see if our guy has loaded anything up yet. Let's go, Demari. What do we got here? I got nothing. I still got nothing. Like, Aaron Thomas did it on his Instagram, and he had it up and running like 10 minutes before. Still nothing here. By the way, I encourage you guys to go ahead and follow my Instagram account. It's Juck_on_Bucks. That would be awesome if you could do that. Terry, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you. Appreciate you for popping on to our last minute here. This is the common, Andrew brings up the point that it is generally a year after is the conventional wisdom that you're going to see a national championship recruiting bump. I think all those conventional wisdom things have been turned on their head and thrown out the door. I don't think it matters at all anymore. But it could. Terrence says Landon Barnes says he's down to Ohio State, Washington, and Ole Miss. Now, I got to tell you, I was on the side of I liked KJ Ford as a prospect more than Landon Barnes until recently. I'm now on Landon Barnes' side of that thing. Yeah, where's this commitment? Does anybody have him on their Instagram? Demari Simeon? Because on my computer, I've got nothing from him. I've got nothing going live, but it did say that he was announcing live on his Instagram. Okay. Decision day, 5 Eastern. Okay, it says it here on his Twitter. So I expect that we'll see this pop on live here in a minute, but I'll keep monitored. Now, last time we did this, I had it streaming to you guys, but I was watching it on my phone, and I realized after I threw my hands up, like, yes, that you guys were on like a 10-second delay, and I'm like, oh no, I let them know before Aaron Thomas announced Buckeyes. I like the way you think, buddy. Lawrence thinks we're still getting Deuce. Hold the faith. Keep the faith. I love Deuce. I think Deuce is just a different type of cat. Uh-oh. Little Boy Gaming thinks that Texas might have put in a new offer to Simeon. Maybe that's the delay, a last-minute offer. What's up, Josh? Josh says, what's up, Juck? What do you think our chances are at landing Xavier Griffin or Tyler Atkinson? So Tyler Atkinson is off the table totally. So 0.00 chance on that. Xavier Griffin, I believe, announces this weekend. It might even be Sunday. I guess there's a 15% chance that James Laurinaitis was able to just pull a rabbit out of a hat there. If it weren't for him, we'd have 0 chance. But I honestly think that this class ends up with CJ Sana and Sincere as the 2 linebackers, and I'm very happy with that myself. Richie lives right behind St. Ignatius. Cyber Nerd, thank you so much, buddy. Cyber Nerd. Look, if we're going to take advice from anybody on computer stuff, it's probably Cyber Nerd. Need to make sure the home router can push 5 gigs or I'll just bottlenet. Okay. I need to look for a 5 gig router then. Jeez, I didn't know I was going to have to do that. Would I be better off just to change it to the 1 gig? Like, am I getting myself any more benefit going from 1 to 5? I guess that's the question. Were my eyes just lighting up that I saw 5 and went, yes, but it might not even help me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I tend to do that. Destroy Mark gonna beg LJ to get Deuce. Ryan also higher on Barnes. See, this was my thing, dude. Ryan, I'm with you. When I saw that picture of KJ Ford standing next to JJ, it looked like his kid brother. Dude, you're the edge, man. Now, the next day he comes out and bull rushes the number 1 lineman in the country. So he's powerful, but Landon Barnes is too. And he's bigger. I mean, as far as rankings go, they're ranked identically. It's pretty hilarious. Like the number 18th and 19th ranked edge in the country and their teammates, like literally side by side. I've still got nothing from Simeon. I just checked his name on my account here, and all I see are tweets from Doreen. I thought she had the link there. She was tweeting out. It was the link to my show. Thank you, Doreen. I appreciate it, and I can tell everybody coming. I don't know, guys. Oh, no way. 8721. Cannot believe Drew Evers. Man, it is just a sign of the time. Oh, Steve, thank you. Steven says I don't need more than 1 gig. It's not going to do me any good. Not going to do me any good to go more than 1 gig. Now, does this count? I want you to keep in mind, I've got kids that game. I got 2 of them, and they game a lot. I think there's like a 2 and a 3 option too. Maybe I should go to that. The Drew Evers thing was a man, that was a real bummer. But that is truly a sign of the times, right? When you got a school like that, they want to keep a kid home. And to him, that's like, that's going to be their top dog of the class. So they can afford to go all out on him. So you can see how it happens. And it wasn't some huge surprise. I mean, we talked about it a couple days before, but until you actually see that, the thing for me is I was just kind of making fun of Oregon the day before that they lost their 5-star quarterback target to BYU. And then it came back to bite us like a day later. Buck Vader would like to see us get both the Duncanville kids if Meadows doesn't pick us. Hey, Scott. Scott asked thoughts on Jaquaden Guilford delaying. So, to my understanding, if he'd have picked today, he was going to pick Ole Miss, which means the delay is a positive for us as to where it was going today. I'm really big on that kid, man. I got to tell you, I know it's hard to I know it's hard, like when you got 4 wide receivers you really like committed, to be all too concerned about it. But I think this guy's got some serious potential, man. I don't understand that ranking. It's ridiculous. It's really odd. Eyeballs for Juck. Yeah. All right. Let me click over here on this guy's Instagram here and see if we got anything yet. And no, I still got no Instagram live. Is anybody seeing anything popping on Twitter about his announcement? That's right. Doreen OG Juckeye. Almost as OG as Stephanie, who is Juckeye number 1. But we need Demari Simeon to start a big weekend here, guys. Let's get us Demari Simeon. There are some people in the camp that they would prefer not Cam Brickle tomorrow. I'm not in that camp. Get the kid in, man. Get him in. And we'll go over his film tomorrow if we happen to pop up live for that one. I guess we'll see if he announces on his Twitter if we can stream it in. But yeah, I've got no notifications on Demari Simeon at all. So we will go over. Sam Osborne says, what happened to Amari Aber? Amari Aber, you mean like recently? So he transferred to Ohio. He came to Ohio State from Duncanville High School, where KJ Ford and Landon Barnes go to school. And then he transferred to SMU. So he goes back home. It was assumed, okay, like things weren't working out great for him in Ohio State, but it just felt like an NIL transfer. And then he basically admitted that it was and said he made an Instagram post, which in the post he said, like, they told me I'd be happier coming here for a bigger deal or something. I should have never left. He said, biggest mistake of my life was leaving Ohio State to take more money. And he's also said that he has talked to both KJ Ford and Landon Barnes about that decision. And that's a guy just a couple of years older than them who was rated higher than them coming out of high school. So he knows what he's talking about. And I imagine that they're listening to him. Travis says maybe Simeon needs to get the fiber too. Destroy Mark says, I'm glad Jaquaden postponed his decision. Kids that go into decision date flip-flopping between schools as if it's signing day and they have to pick now or never. It's a good point. And it is interesting. We are seeing a lot more June commitments than we have previously. Like there's a ton of them. I can't believe how much we're seeing like Buckeyes making their decisions. It's really exciting, but then we're going to have a lot of quiet time. So that kind of sucks. But hey, exciting now. Buck Vader. Chuck, I don't understand the Boyd ranking. What am I missing? I mean, literally, like, him and his quarterback are the number one wide receiver quarterback duo in the state of Texas. He's blazing fast, faster than Chris Henry Jr. and Caden Dixon-Wyatt. He's over 6 foot. Now, there was a knock on him. He was a little frail, like 165. Now he's up to 187. He is pretty twitchy. He's got great hands. It's stupid, man. It's stupid. But whatever. We got him. I really like him. So B, he said oh, here we go. Ryan said, Juck, it's not on his Instagram page. It's on his high school's page. Okay. That would be a good reason why we're not finding it. What? Why would anybody do that? And not even link it. You know what I mean? Like it's not linked on his Instagram page. It's kind of big news, maybe the biggest single news he's ever had in his life. As soon as I pull up my Instagram, I got Jake Cruel talking about bacon avocado. Yeah, man, this guy was not for us. Jake Cruel was not for us. Caden Davis. That's who Jake Cruel was. So I'm looking for the St. Augustine High School, because that's where he goes to high school. Hermit's football. Okay, so they've got the announcement on their page of Demari Simeon, but then they don't have it streaming. Interesting. Yeah, I think they're all running behind schedule because they do not have it running live, but I will get it ready to pull it up should they go ahead and pop that on live. And for now, we'll just shoot the breeze for a few more. in hopes that they decide to make their decision. He could be first. Thanks, Ryan, for that info. Oh, JR, I know you weren't calling me soft. I just that is the thing though. Anytime I see somebody like tweet something, like I saw this Michigan idiot tweet this picture of me having him blocked. Obviously, I don't remember what that idiot said, but whatever it was, I don't want to see it again. You know what I mean? Like, okay, like I'm Twitter soft. I promise I'm not in real life. JMOSU does not count a commitment until they sign. This is interesting now because they're getting into these agreements early. Like I expect we're going to see a lot less flips. By the way, we haven't seen anybody flip out yet, which is interesting there. But I think we're going to see less and less flips because as we're seeing these guys get down to business as they come to the end of the decisions here, they're putting pen to some paper with some things here for financial things, maybe a little early. That's right. You cannot put a price on peace and serenity. Troy, it was bacon avocado, which is something I would love. Like I actually really like a sandwich with sliced avocado, turkey, some bacon on there. That's a good combination for sure. And apparently Jake Cruel likes it as well. And I like a lot of his skills, but when I saw what he was doing in the Florida locker room, I'm just like, man, this guy's not for me. Yeah, apparently the decision was there's not been an announcement that it's been delayed, but right now as we speak, I'm looking at his high school Instagram page. Nothing on here other than the announcements coming at 5, which is now past due. I'm sure one of you guys is also checking Twitter to see if we see anything pop up. Bacon does generally make everything better. There was a point where it was hitting like, okay, we're getting a bit much with the bacon. It was just kind of becoming culturally like everything was about bacon for a while there. Like it's not that good. It's really good though. Scott asks, where can I get Juck Eyes gear? Well, currently we don't have a Juck Eye distributor right now because my deal went belly up with a company that went out of business. So have not been able to work anything out since then, but we'll see what we got going on. I do have a couple of, I got a couple cases of shirts. I guess I could try to sell them. Maybe I'll set that up. I'm going to start a website anyway, so I'll set that up on the website. We'll get to that soon. Website incoming. Yeah, definitely the ones who love the culture at Ohio State will stay. It's special. It's different. It really is. My favorite Natty year is 02. It would hands down, not even close. The way that season went, the culmination, like how many close games there were, and the fact that it was the first one of my life. I was born in 1979, and it was just, so many times under the Cooper era, like there's no way we're not going to win the national championship. We're the best team in the country. And, we all know how that went. But yeah, 02 to me was just the epitome of a perfect season, especially going into the season without those expectations of a national championship, which are always more fun to me. Last year felt like pressure, even as fans, like everything felt like pressure to me. Like, gosh, we're 3, 4, 5 games in. I feel like should be playing a little better than this. And it just was like stressful. There's a lot of it that wasn't fun. Boy, was the end fun. But living through that. Ryan says, Juck, as far as offensive line, Do you think we should stretch and take a project type or wait to load up with a larger class in 2027? Bowen has offered a ton of guys in that class. So I'm in the latter camp of that. I think now Bowen has a longer period to evaluate the guys. And when we look at guys like Tucker Smith, Aaron Thomas, Bowen seems to be the type who likes to go find. And when you're working with a budget now, this is more and more important to go find guys maybe not everybody's after that he puts a whole lot of value on. So I would prefer they go that route. And when we look at the room now, a lot of good potential pieces in there that are young guys that are up and coming. So I think that's what I'd go with. Honestly, if Deron Parks joins the class, if he thinks he's good enough, I'm good with it. But I don't think you really need to stretch for one this year. I'd prefer it next year just because it gives him a longer time. But either way, I trust the guy a ton. I really do. They are terrible people indeed, Dora. I don't know who we're talking about, but they all suck. Oh, she's talking about the t-shirt company. Oh man, do you remember that bacon? That commercial? That stupid dog that was so annoying. Did he answer about PJ Dean? We're shopping and may have missed it. What about I missed the question. Yeah, Rod. 2002, a heart attack week after week after week. But the Big Ten felt better back then. It felt more even. Like there was a lot more even. There was a lot less haves and have-nots, it felt like. Boy, we're getting there. Did you guys see the schedule next year? My goodness, it's so great. For someone like me who wants action, we play 4 Blue Bloods. And in addition to that, so USC, Michigan, we've got Indiana, Iowa, we've got Nebraska, we've got Oregon, Illinois, and Texas. That's an amazing schedule. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have so many big-time games. Troy agrees with me on 2002. Changed our narrative to we'll never win one to, oh, shoot, we can do this. And it was a shift for Troy. And I felt the same way. Like, all right, especially against that Miami team. You know what I mean? Mika's wearing her Juckeye shirt today. Thank you so much, Mika. Mika won that in a contest on the show here. Brandingo, thanks, buddy. Yeah, let's all drop a like. Why not? What's it hurt us? Doesn't hurt us to drop a like. Oh, JB Shabazz, for example. So I don't really put JB Shabazz in that category. To me, he's a little bit higher. I was thinking on that question, guys like Landry Breedy, that kind of type of guy. But Shabazz, yeah, I would definitely take him in this class and have 3 tackles in this class. I mean, between him and Aaron Thomas, there's a lot of people that view, Shabazz as the better potential prospect. I lean Aaron Thomas, but they're both pretty good prospects. Matter of fact, JB Shabazz on 3's internal ranking, they have him as a top 10 defensive or top 10 offensive tackle in the country, which is incredibly high. This is a great question, Terry, to go back and remember how we were during a certain period before social media and then think, what would it have been like then? But the 2002 championship season with social media, crazy. And imagine how much, imagine how much everybody would have said we were going to get buried in that championship game, which back then we were just seeing it from, the writers, sports writers. Back then it would have just been huge, nonstop. That game would have been amazing. And then the call, imagine social media after that call. Oh, wow. That would have been so cool. Yes, it was a 2-team league. but the difference felt, like everything felt a little tighter. It didn't feel like the gap between Ohio State was as far as it is versus so many teams in the Big Ten did throughout the rest to the back end of Tressel's tenure and Meyer's tenure to me. And again, these could just be the way I'm remembering things. I'd have to go look at data. Dave also enjoyed O2 the best for the team, the type of football they played. Yeah. Showed up for a street fight every week. Miami didn't like it rough. Did we cool on PJ Dean? Yeah, it is a committable offer, but he's down the priority list. That coming in, losing the weight, it was deemed as risky business if you're only going to take 2 or 3 guys, which I find it to be ridiculous. I really do. At the same, so you're going to take a lesser football player. You're going to take a lesser football player rather than just, all right, PJ, we're going to pack this back on you, dude. He's a big kid. He's a big kid. Now he's just lean. All right, well, let's blow him back up if you want to blow him back up. I don't get it. You got the best strength and conditioning program in the country. And he's dedicated. How do we know he's dedicated? He just lost like 40 pounds of lard. You know how hard that is? Kid wanted to get lean. Boom, he leans up. All right, we're out. I don't like it. But hey, there is also the question of, well, he didn't play that much defensive tackle, so it's already kind of project-y. But man, you look at the traits, you look at the plays when he did play defensive tackle, and you see a dude who, quite honestly, where we were talking about Cam Brickle, like not close. So on the money side of things, I don't know the difference there. I'm sure it's considerable though. So if that's it, whatever. All right. It is what it is. You got a budget. I get it. Yeah. Conveniently, don't they, Troy? Forget about the miscompletion and hold of the jersey, which forced us to punt to lead to overtime. They like to leave that out. All right. I am checking here, and we have still got nothing on the St. Augustine football Instagram. So, yeah, guys, we are now an hour in. David, appreciate you liking the video, buddy. Thank you so much. K. Smitty, what's up, brother? K. Smitty. Look, I'm getting called a youngster, man. I can dig it. Any chance for nightly live videos or nightly live shows? Yeah, I mean, if this fiber helps me out and I have a good steady signal, yeah, definitely. My man here, did he announce yet? No, he did not announce. To my knowledge, he was supposed to announce at 5. It still says on his school's Instagram page, the announcement's coming at 5. They've not gone live. I've checked his page. I was told by the chat that he was going to do it on maybe his page or on his school's page. So we've been there on the computer and nothing there. And on my phone, I'm on his page and nothing here, which could be a couple things, right? Like this could be last minute back and forth, or we could be way off. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of it. But Juck Live nightly, does that sound good? Do you think? See, here's the thing: when I've done live shows in the evening, they don't tend to get much views. I think people are expecting me in the morning. because I've always done the show in the morning. But if it was steady in the evenings, to be honest, quiet secret, I'm sure most of you know this, but I record the show in the evening and release it in the morning. So it would just be a matter of switching it to live, right? It's no sweat off my back. That's when I film. That's when I'm down here. Uh, am I a basketball fan? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a Buckeye basketball supporter. I'm not someone who, follows it a ton uh, for a while now because it's been kind of so depressing to me. But if they were to start picking back up and doing well, I would find myself getting sucked in, I'm sure. Adam says, we're taking 5 wide receivers, but only taking 2 to 3 inside defensive tackles. Make it make sense, Jug. So the truth is, we actually have a large number on the defensive line right now, roster wise. Like, if we were to take 6 defensive linemen, it's going up from our standard roster, how many guys we keep in there. So looking at defensive tackle next year, or we'll just call it this year, you got Edric, K-Mac, Jason Moore, Will Smith, Ty Malone, Eric Mensa, Jarquez Carter, Trajan Odom, Max Roy. That's 9 dudes. And only one, K-Mac, might leave for the NFL. If he doesn't, that's 9. Now keep in mind, you usually keep 8. So we're already 1 over. And if we bring in 3 more, now you're 4 over what you normally would have been at. So the problem is you're looking at some of these guys, and I know some people have, in their heads kind of, all right, I don't think that guy's really ever going to play or contribute in a way that we thought. You need to bring in some more talent. But just as far as roster numbers, and who knows, we could see some guys transfer out as well. I think we will for sure, depending on how this season goes, right? If it doesn't go good for some of those guys, they're going to get jumped. Like if Jarquez Carter jumps a Jason Moore or something, like, he's not coming back. Did I even count Tywin Malone in there? I might have missed Ty Malone in there. It was 5 Eastern. They are they're in New Jersey. Rome, what's up, buddy? Rome, like the helmet I won in a bet. Did you win? You won that. Is that the Menace helmet that they got from our guys, Green Gridiron? Shout out Green Gridiron, sponsor of the show. You won that in a bet? What was the bet? It's awesome. Bro, that's it's a very expensive helmet. A very expensive helmet. Isaac says, any chance you could do a collab with Uncle Lou YouTube channel? That would be entertaining. So I reached out to Lou, and I have talked a couple times, and I reached out to, I forget what had happened. I think it was right before the playoffs, because he had talked so much crap about Ohio State couldn't beat the SEC. And I wanted to talk to him about that before the playoffs started. And I didn't get a response back that time. That was the last I talked to him. Apparently he didn't want to do that. No, I really enjoy Lou's sense of humor. I think he's really funny. It's good stuff. He's also an intelligent guy. Oh, yeah, Adam, for sure. Adam says, I get that, talking about the numbers, but we're hurting for talent. How many wide receivers we have in the talent? And that's the difference. There aren't any of those wide receivers that you would want to transfer out. It's like, man, I want all these guys to be able to play. There's not enough spots, and some of those defensive linemen. Hey, We heard the head coach. We know what's what. We don't need to bag on anybody. Tennessee Longhorn says, what do y'all know about the running back from Tennessee in 2027? He unofficially visited. Y'all, I think he's nice. He's more than nice. That's David Gabriel George he's talking about from the Baylor School in Nashville, originally from Canada. In fact, he still speaks French, just learning English. First time I saw his film, I said, that's going to be the number one back in the class. And he debuted at number 2 in the rankings. But yeah, he's that type of dude. He's a Sabian Hyder, Derek Cooper in next year's class. He's the real deal. For sure. What do I know about helmets? Yeah. Oh, you would like that with Knuckle Loose. See, the thing is, it's got to be adversarial. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be any fun if we were just talking about, shooting the breeze. Like it's got to be something we disagree on. If it's not me and Lou disagreeing, it wouldn't be fun. If we got something we really disagree on, that could be a hell of a show. Thanks, Brennan. Have a great weekend, buddy. Oh yeah, I like Johnny. I would do something with Johnny for sure. Matter of fact, I just got a call, a message today from Darren from Darren Talks Ball. He's a Michigan guy, and he asked me to come on. He's doing a recap of the Buckeyes national championship season. So he asked me to come on and talk about the Buckeyes for that recap, which of course I will. But yeah, there's not many of those Michigan guys that I dislike that do this, really. Most of them are pretty all right dudes. No, he's not a fan of the Buckeyes. He's not a fan of Buckeye fans. We get a bad rap, right? Because there's so many of us. We can't control that there are some idiots. That's just going to happen. Do I still do shows on Menace to Sports? So they restructured their channel. Like Zach was talking to some real pros in the YouTube industry about the best way to optimize the channel. And they had to break things down into some different way. Bottom line was, not on their YouTube channel, I don't. But I am still on their RSS feed, my podcast. So if you listen to my podcast, you're actually listening to it on their channel. So I'm still affiliated with them. They're still my guys. But no, not on the YouTube channel. Oh yeah, Ryan from Sports Chat 503. That's our Oregon buddy. He's a really good dude. He's a really good dude. His video from the Rose Bowl, guys, is the funniest video you'll ever see. Right? He's a huge Oregon fan. Goes to the Rose Bowl. Now, he's not some arrogant Oregon fan. Like, he has a great deal of respect for Ohio State, even as we were talking like before the season. So they beat us in the regular season. We go to the Rose Bowl, and he's terrified. And he has got a video of him at halftime from the Rose Bowl. And he's just got the camera on him, and he leans back against this wall, and he just, I mean, why? What did we just watch? It was so funny. I'm laughing at his misery, but man, it was funny. Yeah, man. That Rose Bowl was too good. Okay, so Kloster makes a great point. You guys can find this on YouTube. Any game you want to watch back, you can go on YouTube and watch it. And there is an account out there. I wish I knew the name. I'd pump it. But instead of the radio announcers, they put Paul Keels and Jim Lachey commenting on the game, which is so great. But yeah, fantastic to be able to go back and do that. Guys, I'm going to check Demari Simeon one more time. Unless any of you guys got any more questions or anything. I guess we're going to peel off, and it doesn't seem to be anything happening. I don't see anything on Twitter that is saying that we missed anything. or anybody telling me they know what's going on here, a bit of a bust, because I'm going to have to pull this video off of YouTube. It's fraudulent. You know what I mean? It's fraudulent. Maybe we'll just rename it Juck Shooting the Breeze with the chat. I guess that's what we'll do. So yeah, I still got nothing here. Absolutely nothing. So no, it's not Central Time. It's Easter time. So there we have it. All right, friends. Well, I guess that'll wrap us up. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. I apologize. I hope you had at least a decent time. If he reschedules it, I'll pop it up again and we'll watch it live. And we'll try to dig in here as to why this didn't happen, or if it did and we missed it, as to why I'm an idiot. One of those two things. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you. I will talk to you very soon. Have a good one. Juck and Bucks out.